Travis Yost follow vertical bar archive. 6 months ago, Chris Letang was regarded as one of the league's better first-pairing defensemen. Now, his name has been publicly floated into the trade market, in large part due to Pittsburgh's struggles with him on the ice. Anytime a player's performance appears to have fallen off a cliff like it has with Letang, it is worthy of investigation. And considering how infrequent it is that a first-pairing, right-shot defender become available, it's a critical exercise. If the rumors are even partially accurate, it's important to understand why we are here. There are at least 3 key drivers. 1. Letang has an ugly injury history that's forced him to miss significant time over the years. 2. He is in the middle of an 8-year, $58 million contract, not a cap killer, but not the easiest contract to drop onto a roster either. 3. And perhaps most importantly, Pittsburgh's struggling mightily this season, and their struggles are most prominent with their top lines and top pairings on the ice. Teasing out what's real and what is noise from something like this isn't easy. After all, Pittsburgh's core unit, that includes Letang, but also a number of other marquee talents, has dominated the league for close to a decade. This season has been the complete opposite. Whether it's Letang or any number of other top-tier Penguins skaters, they have all struggled. The struggles are most prominent at even strength. Letang's goal differential is absolutely ghastly, no question. But that's also true for just about everyone in Pittsburgh. Only one player on the entire roster is above break-even right now, and that's Justin Schultz. Everyone else is a negative. And while Letang's -23 and -2.1 goals per 60 minutes is clearly the clubhouse leader, it's not as if Sidney Crosby, Yevgeny Malkin, Jake Gensel, or Phil Kessel are moving the needle favorably either. It's a group struggle. Those of you who haven't watched much of the Penguins might be curious how a defending 2-time Stanley Cup contender suddenly cannot do anything right. If you are stat-friendly, you might be wondering the same question on top of the fact that the Penguins are a 51.5 Corsi percent team this year, not setting the world on fire, but clearly getting the better of their opponents on a regular basis. The answer lies in the percentages, a friendly link for those curious about PDO and why we care about it here. Say what you will about any one of these players, it's awfully difficult for a team, doubly so for a great team like Pittsburgh, but true nonetheless, to shoot at such poor rates at 5-on-5. And that's the lesser of their concerns on a relative scale. Matt Murray and company are having a brutal season in net, and are probably the biggest reason why Pittsburgh is staring up at so many teams in the division right now. I bring up the PDO piece because, well, percentages have a funny way of clouding our analysis and causing overreaction in brief samples. Remember when everyone was in a panic about the scoring woes of Edmonton and Montreal? That was 2 months ago. Those percentages have predictably improved over time, and suddenly both teams are back in the playoff hunt. And it's not as if Letang in particular, or any Pittsburgh skater for that matter, has had career PDO issues. Since 2007-08, Pittsburgh's shot 8.3% and stopped 92.0% of shots with him on the ice, which is perfectly normal. Last year, they shot 7.2% and stopped 92.0% of shots with him on the ice, which is also perfectly normal. This year is just so remarkably deviant it is, well, hard to believe. Still, just because the percentages have been brutally unkind to Letang doesn't mean we should ignore other possible data points. Something that I'd consider to be a substantially larger concern is if Pittsburgh was seeing an unfavorable territorial shift against Letang when he was on the ice. If Pittsburgh is no longer beating opponents into their defensive zone when he's out there, it's a problem that is a real and legitimate driver of bad goal differentials. But that doesn't appear to be at issue here. Letang has been remarkably consistent. Some of that is due to the fact that he's a great player, some of that is due to playing with other great players. But like most years, Letang and his teammates are laying waste to their opponents when they are out there. This year they are nearly 8 shots better per 60 minutes than their opponent, which is right around where they were during last year's Stanley Cup season. Either way, it's hard to look at this and think that a lack of performance is the primary driver.